Good evening, culture lovers, oi oi, and welcome to Bushell on the Box, the show that asks, what is more fixed, Vladimir Putin's re-election or the grins on Ben and Kat's faces on this morning? I'm Garry Bushell, and today I'm going to talk about the crisis at ITV. ITV's fortunes have plummeted like a question of sports viewing figures did under Paddy McGuinness. Pre-tax profits are 61% down on year to a mere 193 million. They blame a brutal slump in advertising revenue plus the cost of launching their ITVX streaming service. Both huge factors, of course. But I wonder whether the programmes they make are part of the problem. Once ITV made genuinely great British dramas. Now the channel is obsessed with reality TV, soap and true crime. Some of it superbly crafted, but a lot of it dreary and unwatchable. They hate their legacy as much as they do their viewers and make Channel 4 type programmes primarily targeting a young demographic, ironically because that's the audience that the ad industry men want. Only 2.7 million watched the Celebrity Big Brother launch, but they were the right 2.7 million. But hold on, what about the grey pound? What about people who've paid off their mortgage and tend to watch more telly than other age groups? We've got money, we buy things. In fact, we have greater spending power than a 20-something couple struggling with young kids and a mortgage. Why not make shows for us? Now, the over 50s account for 47% of spending, but advertisers persist in seeing older viewers as being in the market for only specific things. Stair lifts, funeral planning, mobility scooters and those funny old walk-in baths. They see us as old gits bumbling along on Zimmer frames. It's patronising, insulting and wrong. Especially as people are living longer and stay active longer. We're not all stuck in a care home with the telly fixed on BBC One because Nurse Ratchet can't be asked to change the battery in the bloody remote. I was lucky enough to grow up when TV was young and when ITV made inventive and exciting dramas. Not just the Avengers, but that whole ITC stable. Shows like Randall and Hopkirk Deceased, The Saint, Danger Man, The Prisoner, The Champions, Department S and The Persuaders. Fun fact, in the USA, Randall and Hopkirk Deceased was renamed My Partner the Ghost because TV bosses thought their viewers couldn't cope with the distress of having deceased in the title. The poor dears. The 70s saw classics like Minder and The Sweeney, but ITV carried on making cracking dramas well into the 80s and 90s. Auf Wiedersehen Pet, Robin of Sherwood, Sharp's Rifles, Widows, Fox, Prime Suspect, Inspector Morse and London's Burning are just some of them. They still make the odd belter, but a deliberate decision was made in the 1990s to target female viewers rather than blokes. Would you trust them to remake Sharp now? You just know they'd water it down with tiresome modern prejudices. They'd probably make Sharp a bisexual vegan with a crush on Napoleon. They couldn't make Soldier Soldier and set it in modern times. Because of budget cuts, it'd have to be called Soldier. And in the interest of reality, it'd end with half the squadron sleeping rough and two of them facing trumped-up historic crime charges in a kangaroo court while our gutless government looked the other way. Fresh from this morning's papers, Nike have taken it upon themselves to change the colours of the Cross of St George on the New England shirt. Now, Nike are an American company. Now, how do you think the Yanks would react if a foreign business mucked about with the stars and stripes? Maybe lopping off a few stars and inserting a weeping Cherokee in the middle to remind the self-righteous gits of their own unsavoury past. It's a shocking own goal for the FA who backed it. The only thing that's going to hurt these overpaid morons is to hit them in their wallets. Let's boycott Nike until they see the errors of their ways. Hunted is back for its 7th series. It's a testament to the skills of the editors that it still entertains. But to enjoy it, disbelief has to be suspended like a hanging man at Tyburn Gallows. We know that the Hunted are followed everywhere by at least one cameraman, probably two, so they stand out like a rhino in the Rover's return. Also, despite being on our screens for 9 years, nobody seems to have figured out how to evade the hunters. How could they do it? Here's my handy guide. Never go home or phone home. Stay off the phone completely if you can. Never use cash machines. Use the months before the show begins to set up false trails by leaving behind a search history of places to hide in Northern Wales and things like that when you actually intend to duck your nut in a remote village in rural Ireland. And make phone calls to places in the same area. Avoid anywhere with CCTV. Change your clothes and appearance immediately. Send in fake tips. And finally, the fugitives are always on the defensive. Why? Why not put together a team of pals to cause Just Stop Oil style chaos for the hunters? Of course, the best way to evade capture would be to turn up on a dinghy on a Dover beach and claim asylum. You'd be lost in the system for months. Anyone else think ACC Lisa Thieker looks like Paul Weller in drag? Do you remember the American documentary series Cops? The bad guys got away from the cops, but they never got away from the camera crews. Who was operating those cameras? Usain Bolt? They should have sacked the cops and hired the bloody camera crews. Things I learned this week from TV news. Ewan McGregor was giving intimacy coaching before filming sex scenes with his own wife. I suspect anyone married for more than 20 years needs intimacy coaching, not to mention a refresher course and a roadmap. Now, a lot of women complain that their husbands don't listen to them. I've never heard my wife say that. I mean, she might have done. R.I.P. Steve Harley of Cockney Rebel, a lovely, talented bloke. He once told me that when Viagra used his song Make Me Smile, Come Up and See Me in their TV ads, he made enough money from it to buy an Aston Martin. Of course, that wouldn't have worked with his other song, Mr. Soft. You know what makes me laugh? People who say they are rebelling against conformity while wearing exactly the same clothes and thinking exactly the same way as all of their mates. Time for some mysteries. Was the tit wank invented by mermaids? When Jim Davidson played Buttons, was Deborah Corrigan his undoing? Why has Francis de la Tour never competed in a continental bike race? And now Scottish widows are dropping the widows. What are they going to say when they answer the phone? Silly question. Not a problem. Big companies never employ humans to answer the fecking phone. Finally, a classic howler. James Braxton was admiring an old Echo radio on Celebrity Antiques Road Trip when he told Perry from Diversity, "Just feel that knob. That's lovely, isn't it? Lovely and smooth." Oi, oi, that's your lot. See you in a day or two. Cheerio.